Everyone can relate to the all-familiar excitement that the new school year brings. New pens, new classes, and even a new perspective on the school year in front of you. However, well into October, much of the novelty of the new school year has worn off, replacing that new excitement with what seems to be a cycle of never-ending stress for many students, especially in accelerated courses. According to a multi-year study conducted by Dr. Shannon Suldo and Dr. Elizabeth Shaughnessy Diedrich from USF College of Education, the high-pressure academic environment that surrounds many AP and honors students actually increases levels of stress and even caused increased mental health problems. In addition, these environments reduced happiness, led to fewer friendships, and increased disengagement from school. Junior Leston Kandakuti attributes much of the desire to take an AP-heavy course load to his upbringing. His workload usually consists of anywhere from 2 to 5 hours of homework a night, which has impacted his mental health in the past.
For me personally, I've been brought up to know that education is the number one thing in your life, and that if you don't have a good education that your life is ruined. That's just what my parents have taught me. So it just doesn't matter if you're feeling stressed or you just feel like you want to bawl out crying. If you didn't finish your homework, then you were that's just a bad thing.
Despite Kandakuti accrediting himself to good time management skills, he explains that the workload sometimes gets the better of him, which can lead to late nights that further affect his mental health.
So for me, I always try to finish my homework, but there are just some days where I literally can't. I'll be up until 4 a.m. still doing freaking AP Spanish homework, and I'm just I have to stop. I can't do it. But there have been plenty of times where I was my homework comes first before my mental health, which I know is bad, but it's just something that I've been so used to that I feel I just can't stop.
Senior Haywan Melky has taken 9 AP classes while at DGS, with a range consisting of AP Photo, AP Gov, AP Bio, and many others. During her junior year, Melky decided to replace the lunch period in her schedule with AP Chem, which attributed to a decline in her mental and physical health.
Last year, I took all classes with not a single lunch, and I took AP Chem instead of a lunch, and it was awful, and I just had a horrible mental health. I was not taking care of myself. I lost roughly 30 pounds because my grades were bad, then I quit speech.
Although Melky has experienced what she calls the wrath of AP classes, she continues to take them because of the way the classes have prepared her for college and the work ethic that accompanies AP courses.
It pushes you for sure, and it forces you to time manage, and if you don't time manage, you're obviously gonna have negative consequences. I feel you learn a lot more, you get a lot more hands-on, in-depth understanding of things versus
AP US history teacher James Ciccoli often encounters students taking their first AP class, which can be very reflective for many students. He notes how he can often see a visible change in students in regards to their ability to handle their workload as the school year continues.
Students change and mature quite rapidly over the year, and I could say that beginning of the year they're very stressed out, they're kind of overwhelmed, most of them will cry at some point. I always tell parents they're going to cry, but as even the first 4 or 5 months they begin to handle the workload, they get more confident when they're successful at it.
Although Ciccoli is witness to plenty of progress among his AP students, he has also noticed the toll that an AP course can place on them.
Quite a bit as teachers, I think students need to start small, try one, and then build slowly from there. No student, I believe personally, should ever not have a lunch or should never not have downtime. You should always have some downtime, because even 4 or 5 or 3 AP classes can crush students, and it's too early in their career to really burn out.
AP Lit teacher Dr. Kirsten Thompson has noticed a particular trend among AP students, bragging about the amount of work one did, even at the expense of their own mental health. She goes on to explain how this can make it hard to determine if a student actually needs help or not.
Part of AP culture is bragging about how much work you have to do, right? There's some kind of level of pride in saying, I had so much work, I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning studying for APES, right? And, I hear kids do that talk too. So sometimes it's hard when they're just talking amongst their friends for me to decide if talking amongst their friends is really like, I'm drowning, help me, or if it's just like, I'm doing a lot of work and, listen to how much work I'm doing.
Thompson urges students to assess what kind of learner they are before deciding to take AP courses, and recognizes that many students are willing to make sacrifices to maintain their AP heavy course load.
So there are some kids that I think, want to handle multiple AP courses. They understand going into it, it's going to be a lot of work. And they're willing to just make the sacrifices to do all of that work. There are some kids that think they can handle it, they get into it, and they're like, oh, right, not the right choice for me.
It is no wonder that AP Culture is the center of such heated debate, provided the pros and cons list that many students tackle when registering for classes. Reporting from Downers Grove, this is Kate Riley with the Blueprint News Network.